Hiya folks, Scotty here from Frontline Medical, and give you an update since I posted the last video. Now, it's been busy, it's been a busy 12 hours basically since the last video went out. But before I get there, if you want to help support us by donating on PayPal at garyteggy1984@gmail.com. All proceeds go towards the front line, support the troops. Okay, so what's been happening? Well, we've had a lot of explosions, and one very close to me actually, in Sloviansk. It was a huge explosion. It did affect the power grids, and medical services were affected. It basically knocked out power on the grid to parts of the hospitals, and that obviously required some of the hospitals to get people out because they weren't sure if there was going to be a second strike. So they started to get people out towards Dnipro, Kharkiv, other cities, Zaporizhia. Even if you move them to like Dnipro, Zaporizhia and Kharkiv, they're under attack as well. It's not as if we're moving them somewhere that's going to be safer. And as we know, the chances of a hospital being hit is extremely high. So it's been problematic. There was a lot of transfers overnight. Now I do have friends who are in the Kharkiv area or just outside Kharkiv. Some of them are based outside of that area, and they have said that the increase in drone attacks it's really off the scale. Really, a lot of surveillance drones kicking about, and they are receiving a lot of incoming. So they're pretty much expecting it. Once they see the surveillance drone coming over, they are expecting the hit to take place, or a strike to take place even. Basically that night or within an hour or 2 hours of seeing that drone. Now, as everyone knows at this point, I've said it in the previous video, our intelligence has been severely compromised. The Europeans are trying to plug the gap, but the intelligence side has been severely compromised. With the lack of satellite imagery, it's basically we're working with one hand tied behind our back now. So it is becoming more difficult. There's no doubt about it. Now we do understand as well that the peace summit, if you want to call it that, is coming up. And do I hold out much hope for a good outcome? No, negative. I don't. Do I expect things to get better quickly? Sorry. No. To be honest, is the honest answer here. And it's worrying. I've got a lot of friends throughout the country. I've got some really good friends in places like Kyiv, Rivne, Lviv. And every time I look at these maps, every time I see a strike in those areas, the first thing that comes to my head is, are they okay? Because it's soul destroying. They're good people. They're people just like you and I. They're no different. They get up in the morning, they go to work, they've got families. All they want to do is live their life, and basically they are not sleeping throughout the night. They're in bomb shelters, trying to get on with their day, trying to run their businesses, and they can't do it. So it's really hard. It's difficult to think about sometimes. And then obviously we've got the guys who are deployed. Now I've got a lot of friends in the front line, and they're spread throughout the front lines and the rest of the country. And it's not good when those reports come in, or you get a phone call saying that someone's been killed or someone has been injured, and it's pretty soul destroying, to be completely honest. It's demoralising, but at the same time it keeps you going. We keep moving forward because it basically pisses you off. If you've ever been in that mood where someone thinks that by pushing you even harder and making your life miserable, constantly attacking you, they think you're going to back down. It's actually having the opposite effect, and we're seeing that more and more throughout the country, especially with the political atmosphere. So that's what's happening, guys. It's a really weird atmosphere right now. I mean, if when you talk to Ukrainians, they just want an end to it. You know, they really do just want an end to it. But at the same time, they're like, why should we? What's going to stop Russia from attacking us again? They don't listen. And they think that any peace deal that goes through is going to be rushed. There's not going to be precautions in place. They want major security guarantees that this will never happen again, because they do not want their children fighting in the next war. They don't want it. And the reality is that the Ukrainian government, you know, they're stuck as well. I mean, if you think about it, they had the COVID lockdowns, the same as the rest of us, and they went straight to war. So technically, the people of Ukraine have actually been under some sort of restriction now for 5 years. They haven't had a normal life in 5 years. And when you talk to them, they're like, they don't know what normal life is anymore. And you've got kids who have been born in that time, and this is all they've known. They've never seen, you know, the places open at bars. They've never seen the shops, the McDonald's running 24/7. They've never seen the cities operating normally. You know, and that's insane to me, that they've literally been born into this system. But what are my thoughts on it? My thoughts are things are going to get harder before they improve. I genuinely think that. I think we're going to really suffer a lot more. And, you know, I'm in this unique position. I'm a foreigner in this country. I can leave at any time. I can break contract at any time. That's one of the perks. You know, I came here voluntarily, but I don't want to. I want to continue the fight, because this war has been bittersweet to me. It really has been bittersweet. First of all, it is the most horrible, disgusting war I have ever seen. It is death on a scale that I will hopefully, in my lifetime, never see again. I've seen towns and cities destroyed. I have lived in towns that no longer exist anymore. We've had to move away from them, and the town just doesn't exist. It has been deleted, it's not even destroyed. On the other side, on the flip side, I've met some of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. The Ukrainians, the way they treat me. When I first came to this country, they didn't know me. They didn't speak my language. We didn't have anything in common. I came from a first world country. I came from a country at peace. I had everything at my fingertips. I could go on my phone, order food, I could relax, go to work, and live a normal life. I came here, and when I first stepped into Ukraine, I went from Hungary to Lviv. And I remember that night very well. I will never forget that night. I went to a bus terminal in Lviv, and it had been turned into an evacuation point. A lot of people heading towards Poland. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. It was so cold. It was in March of 2022. It was very, very cold that night. I always remember. And I could see kids in tents. There was people trying to get food organised, blankets, and it was on this huge scale. But within an hour, someone had picked me up. I didn't know this guy. I still don't know his name to this day. And they took me to a local school, and they gave me everything. They literally opened the doors, gave me everything I needed. to survive. They put me in contact with organisations, they put me in contact with the military, and basically within a week, they got me some paperwork, and that was that. And since then, anywhere I've been in Ukraine, anywhere that I've travelled to, the locals have helped me. Whether it be the local babusha who's got a house that she said we can stay in, to the shops, the grocery stores, when we need supplies, if we need someone to fix the cars. They've always been there. They're some of the best people you'll ever meet. And some of them don't have much. You go to these small towns, they don't have much, but they will literally give you the shirt off their back. They will give you everything you need. And that to me speaks volumes. It shows that they do appreciate us. They understand why people are here. And that is something I'll never forget. It's something that will stick with me for the rest of my life. So that gives me the reason to fight for it. That gives me, if anyone's wondering why I'm here, this is the reason why. If you've never been to Ukraine, you've never set foot in this country, it's a beautiful country. It's huge, it's got wide open areas. The people are fantastic, the food is good, the cities are beautiful. The culture, the language, everything about it. And that's worth fighting for. They want a democratically elected government. They will have elections. I understand there's been some controversy because they haven't held elections, and the elections are impossible because so many people are on the front line. There's people in occupied areas, and there's people who've fled abroad. The elections can't be held, and it's in their constitution that they cannot hold elections during a time of war. But they want the elections. The government wants the elections. They want to move forward. And my hope is that whatever comes out of any peace deal, whatever the outcome is, I hope the Ukraine gets the security guarantees it deserves. And I hope the rebuilding process makes Ukraine bigger and better. And we just won't forget. We won't forget the ones that we've loved and lost. Because there's so many of them. Hopefully, guys. I'm hoping. That's what I hope for anyway. No more death, no more destruction, and a prosperous Ukraine at the end of it with security guarantees for its future, so no one ever has to do what we've had to do. No one ever has to see what we've seen. So let's hope, guys. If you want to support us on PayPal, it's at GaryTeggy1984 @gmail.com. Guys, Slava Ukraine, peace out. From the front line, we love you.